Welcome back to the conclusion of the interview with Nick Loper, founder of SideHustleNation.com. We've been talking about how to get your side hustle on, how to get this gig started part-time. Now we're going to talk about getting it sold, the importance of automation, how to do it, auto response sequences, and the power of tagging.
Welcome to this edition of Peak Performers Podcast with your host, Thor Conklin. Thor will be sharing the necessary tools, strategies, and psychology you'll need to become a peak performer in any area of your life or business.
Thor Conklin here. We give you the tricks, the tips, the tools, the strategy, the technology, and the psychology peak performers use in order to get more done and execute at the highest level. If you know what to do but struggle with getting it all done, or simply want to raise your game to the next level, this podcast is for you. Sit back and enjoy. You know, we learn so much from those opportunities that don't work out the way we want to. Some people call them failures, others call them learning lessons. What are some of your lessons that you've learned from the things that did not work out the way you wanted them to?
Lots. So the shoe business eventually died. Let's see, a couple other projects that have kind of flopped had a few things in common, and they were, me chasing what I thought would be, money opportunities first rather than opportunities to help people. And, the side hustle site is a good example of kind of doing the opposite, right? So I read The Go-Giver by Bob Berg, and it's like, be of service first and, trust that the money will come. That's exactly what happened with the side hustle site. The first real monetization channel was that guy's suggestion, hey, you ought to start a mastermind group. And I was like, well, okay, here we are. We're almost a year deep into this project. Let's bring the cash register, see what happens, or put this out there and see what happens. And sure enough, got a few people to take it. The other kind of characteristics of the failed projects were, stuff that I didn't really care about or didn't really know about. So I'll give the example of I tried to start a wine-related site, and it was just horrible. I don't know anything about wine. I don't care anything about wine other than, occasionally like to drink it. And so the content was just completely, Me Too, regurgitated nonsense. I just wanted people to click on my affiliate link. That was the whole reason for the site to exist. And that was not a good enough reason for it to exist for anyone to come out of their way to visit it. And the third kind of commonality in the projects that have failed are the ones where I try and remain anonymous or behind the scenes. And so the ones that have done better are the ones that, I slap my name on and say, look, this is me. This is why you should trust me to talk about this or to read about this. And, I'm going to be here. This is my face, on the about page versus some, anonymous third party, company that tries to kind of be behind the scenes. So those are the three that stand out to me on the failed projects front.
Well, what I love also about your site and the stuff that you put out is you're very authentic, you're very genuine and real. There's not this facade of, my Facebook persona or, my online, hey, look at me, I'm doing great. You come across very personable, kind of like the guy next door, I guess is probably the easiest way to say that. And that's what I love about your brand. The content is amazing.
Which, of course, is manufactured for online as well.
Yeah. I mean, look, the content has to be great, right? But in the way it's delivered, we all know those personalities online that every time they go to do a video, there's somebody's Ferrari. I'm not quite sure if it's theirs in the background. I still haven't, I want to send a personal note to every one of them. It's what are you doing? And some of them actually have some decent content. And I'm just there's no way. I wouldn't give you a nickel. So anyway, congratulations on that. I think you do a really great job there. There's a connection there.
I don't know. I've just had a lot of humility handed to me over the years through, all sorts of struggles and challenges. I wish I was half as smart now as I was at 16. I thought I knew it all. And just, through a series of struggles and challenges, it's look, dude, you got some learning to do. And, and I still do. So I apologize to all the people in high school that, I'm sure came off as a know-it-all. And I'm embarrassed by that version of myself now.
Well, but so many people struggle with what you and I do, and that is our names are on the forefront of our product. And I don't know, but it sounds like you did as well, as I did, struggled with making the name or me the center of a lot of the stuff that I did. And a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with that because they want to be kind of in the background. But it's so important that you let the world see who you are, what you're doing, be just you. Don't be anybody else, just be you. But get out there and let the world see who you are. Some are going to love you. Some are going to hate you. Some don't care. Just keep moving.
Just keep moving.
Just keep moving. If you were flat broke tomorrow, you got nothing. No side gigs, no nothing. You're flat broke. What do you do?
Start hustling, I guess. Go out and sell some service, because you can't like the buy low, sell high business model really doesn't apply to you because you got nothing to buy with. So you really got to go sell your time. So what that looks like for me, I could do, content writing. I could do, rudimentary web development. I could do, rudimentary social media strategy. I could do podcast editing. I mean, there are a number of skills. I could do house painting again. A number of skills that I've picked up over the years that I could probably go out and sell should I have to. But an important part of that is, nobody really starts from scratch. So you're broke. You still have your lifetime of connections and experience to kind of fall back on. And so that's that was one of the ideas I wrote down this week. It was like, nobody starts from scratch. I got to write a blog post about this. Okay.
Brilliant. You're absolutely right. Nobody does start over from scratch because you just can't learn less. You get all those lessons and knowledge, and you can apply it to the next thing. That's great. All right, we're going to switch gears here for just a second, and I want to ask you about some of the worst advice you've ever received. Now, at the time, you thought it may have been good advice. You went out, you implemented it, only to find out later that, oops, that was not good.
Buy as much house as you can afford. So we bought a townhouse here in California in 2007, just after the peak of the market. So things had come down a little bit, and we're like, hey, things came down. It's not as bad as it was. Fast forward 18 months, and that place was worth 40% of what we paid for it. Really, really painful kind of lesson in real estate. And so I'm still a little gun shy on the whole real estate market, and trying to do my investment in REITs and no longer direct ownership and stuff like that.
Yeah, I had my property management and investment lessons right around 2008 as well. Yeah. I thought I was very smart. How
about the corollary? How about buy a house you can rent out?
that was mine. That's what I did. Yeah,
buy a house you can mark out for positive cash flow.
Yeah. I bought several of those. No sense just doing one. Let's do multiple ones. So I got that. I'll have to write a book about that one time. What not to do. Thor's Guide to Real Estate Not Investing. Tell us about the next steps in your business. What's coming in 2017?
So what's coming up is trying to get smarter about audience segmentation and automation. So right now, how it works is I'm dumping everyone into kind of some one generic autoresponder sequence, which I think is really doing a disservice to the audience. I think I can do a much better job of being engaging and delivering the right content at the right time. And we can do that through the power of tagging, in your email service provider. Say, hey, look, you opted in for something related to freelancing, and now I'm sending you something related to e-commerce. Like, there might be a little bit of a disconnect there. But if I know you opted in for something related to freelancing, hey, I can send you messages specifically related to growing and starting a freelance business. So that's kind of what's on the plate. It's really a daunting move to transition email service providers, with 150 different sign-up forms and all the integrations and stuff. So that's kind of why I've been hesitant to pull the trigger, but I really got to tackle this thing just one step at a time.
What platform are you using currently?
I'm on Aweber now, and I'm looking at ActiveCampaign. What about you?
Infusion or Confusionsoft.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, Infusionsoft. It's, everybody out there, if you haven't dived into one of these CRMs, there's a That's like a whole separate business to your business. How to be good at that.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, there's a whole world of Infusionsoft certified consultants, right? Who'll set it up for you. And it's like, I mean, that's how that piece of software has its own like cottage industry.
Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah, here's the software. And here's somebody that can tell you how to run it. Oh, and here's someone that will run it for you because you're still not going to understand how to really run it.
Which, speaking of, great side hustle opportunity, right? Like, what software do you know? How can you package that as a service? Software with a service, right? Infusionsoft, QuickBooks, SEM, right? Any of these different like industry specific softwares. If you can become the go-to guy for that, you will not be hurting for work.
Yeah. You know what I'm waiting for also? I'm waiting for someone to come out with a social media consulting practice that guarantees the ROI, guarantees the results for the client.
Okay.
I'd love, if someone knows of one out there, I'd love to hear about it. One of the things that I did is I built my consulting practice around, if I don't get your ROI of 300%, you don't get charged. You're going to pay for results. And I'd love to see somebody do that in the SEO world. And
I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it in the CPA world. I want the performance-based accountant, but my CPA friend told me that's like against IRS rules or something.
Yeah. I have a friend that is a CPA, and we were talking about why are so many people upset and frustrated with their CPAs, and it's like there's they seem to want to put the things into the buckets, but what about actually helping me? Be my advisor, be on my team, help me figure out how to manage my my tax structure for the following year.
Yeah, totally. If all you're going to do is punch numbers into the boxes, I could do that in TurboTax.
Yeah, exactly. I think there's a huge side gig there, no question. Energy is life, and everyone's trying to figure out how to get more time in their day, but it's really about managing your energy. How do you manage your energy and keep it at the top?
Well, we just did an episode about this with a kind of a former professional soccer player turned registered holistic nutritionist. And I mean, he had a whole bunch of different energy advice, but some of the big ones were really, managing your diet, eating a largely plant-based diet. So I still eat meat, but try and eat healthy, I think, is a big component of that. Try and get enough sleep and really try and have those action items written down, because it's like the most frustrating thing for me is to sit down to finally like, oh, I've got a window to work and spend the first 15 minutes on Facebook because you didn't know what you were going to work on. Like you have to have that stuff itemized out. Like at least that gives me energy. And then like as you see some momentum, you're like, oh, I'm crossing stuff off. I'm feeling good, and that kind of breeds more action.
We are at the part of the show that we call the rapid fire execution round. I'm going to fire off 12 questions, and you've got 2 minutes to answer them. The reason you have 2 minutes is if you have something that you need to get done, it only takes 2 minutes. Just knock it out. Don't schedule it.
Is it 2 minutes per or 2 minutes for all 12?
That would be 2 minutes for all 12.
All right. Okay,
all right.
No rambling allowed.
Sorry. See, I'm originally from Jersey, so it's like, I want to move. Are you ready?
Deep breath. Let's do it.
Deep breath. There you go. Center yourself. And you can ask the dog for help. What time do you start your day?
7:30.
Name the one decision in business you wish you had never made.
I wish I had never contracted with these crazy people on Elance to upgrade my site.
Your top priority in life?
Happiness.
The person you will always take their phone call no matter what?
My wife.
Most important book you've ever read?
I like The Go-Giver.
Name the skill that you have that you're most proud of.
Persistence.
Number one thing you'd like to learn in the next 6 months.
Email segmentation, or what's it called? Marketing automation.
One thing you were told that turned out to be the most true.
Do what you love, and you'll never work a day in your life.
Name a profession that you'd like to attempt other than the one that you're currently in.
Oh, I don't know. I'm happy with where I'm at.
Your favorite thing to do when you're not at work?
Skiing.
Name the one thing you did poorly last year, but this year you actually do better.
scheduling or like trying to work my editorial calendar proactively.
How old were you when you knew you could be successful?
At first, probably like 14, and then, they took a dip, and then, probably 25.
The one thing you must do every single day.
Hustle.
The square root of 8,385. No, I'm kidding. That's just not the question. I had to throw that one in at the end just to see if I can trip people up. But you got actually tripped up on the first one. But you did win. You made it through the execution round.
Jeez, I know. That started a little rough for me. What was the first question again? Of the best speaker?
Yes. One of the best speakers you've ever heard, and what did he or she say?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of all the different keynotes and stuff that I've been. I think Grant Baldwin did an amazing keynote. I mean, he was just great. Super funny. John Acuff, very similar kind of message. But the best speakers are the one, and this is true even on TED Talks. It's like they're getting more laughs per minute than like a sitcom, and it's like that is what's keeping the audience engaged. So I thought both of those guys did an awesome job.
Nick, please share with the audience how they can get in touch with you and some of the things that you're working on.
Well, we'd love to have you tune in to the Side Hustle Show. You can find that at sidehustlenation.com. And if you hit sidehustlenation.com/ideas, you'll find a constantly updated laundry list of part-time business ideas that you can start today.
And Facebook, I know you got a Facebook group as well. Is that open to the public?
It is. I think you got a request to join, and then I can approve you. It's sidehustlenation.com/FB. We'll redirect you over there.
Hey, Nick, can you share any parting advice for our listeners?
The parting guidance that I would want to leave with peak performers is really to think of your side hustle, or even whatever project you're working on. Think of it as an experiment, and that gives you gives you permission to fail in a way. Gives yourself the mentality of like, okay, I'm going to give myself 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, however long you feel comfortable with. To give this a shot. I'm going to give it my best effort, and if it works, great. If it doesn't work, hey, I'm going to look at it kind of from a scientific analysis to see why it failed or why it didn't work the way I thought it might, and how can I use that learning to my next thing, to my next experiment.
That is great advice. If you're out there and you're thinking about starting a side hustle, check them out. Here's your resource. Thank you very much. Every peak performer that has ever lived or will live does one thing extremely well. They know how to take their ideas and execute on them. Ideas and knowledge are not power, but the ability to execute on them, that is real power. If you consider yourself a peak performer and really want to take your game to the next level and truly master the science of execution, I would like to send you some information about our upcoming event, Business Execution Summit. Simply take your phone and text the word BESUMMIT, one word, to 41411. And I'll send you some additional information on how to master the most important skill you will ever acquire for your life or your business. Thank you so much for listening today. I really do appreciate your time, and I hope you found today's show valuable. If you would like to receive these shows automatically to your phone or to your computer, simply go to iTunes and subscribe. After listening to several of the shows, if you're so inclined, please leave us a 5-star rating, as this helps us reach additional people and spread the message. If you're truly committed to taking your life to the next level and doing whatever it takes to become a peak performer, but something's holding you back, something is blocking your way, and you just can't seem to figure out what it is, send me an email to info@thorconklin.com, and I'd be more than happy to get on the phone with you. We'll schedule a 15-minute discovery call. No obligation, no cost. I absolutely love to hear from the listeners, and if there's something I can do to help, I'd be more than happy to do that. Also, if you found something of great interest in today's show and you want to share that with your friends and family, simply go to my Facebook page, Thor Conklin, click on the episode, hit the share button, and share it on your page. You can follow me at Twitter at Thor Conklin. The website is thorconklin.com. We're constantly adding new free resources, discussing additional tricks, tips, tools, and strategies on how to be a peak performer. Remember, I try to keep these episodes short so you can listen to them during dot time, doing other things, commuting, driving, walking, working out. Decide to be a peak performer in all that you do. And until tomorrow, have an absolutely amazing day.